Atlanta Pride Parade was wild diversity of New South LGBTQ support. A sea of rainbow flags and a feeling of excitement filled Piedmont Park Saturday for the 2-day Atlanta Pride Festival. The event took a hiatus due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but now the event and the LGBTQ's pride in it are stronger than ever. Nearly every Democratic contender for Georgia's top offices took part Sunday in the Atlanta Pride Festival, which has steadily transformed from an event largely ignored by the state's leading liberal politicians to a must-attend on the campaign trail. U.S. Senators John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock sat side by side in a pink convertible. Gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams waved a purple fan as she marched through the cheering parade route. Jen Jordan, her party's nominee for Attorney General, rode atop a neon Jeep festooned with a giant peach. No Republican candidates for statewide office were featured in the parade, which drew a record-setting crowd. For Democrats, the festivities offered a chance to showcase their support for LGBTQ rights before a bloc of voters that is flexing its political and financial muscle ahead of a midterm election that could determine control of the U.S. Senate. Though gay rights issues have taken a back seat to other factors on the campaign trail, including the Supreme Court ruling that triggered Georgia's anti-abortion restrictions and economic concerns about rising prices, they remain an undercurrent in the election. I love Stacey Abrams,
Me too.
And the fact that they were all out there at Pride, but it goes back to our previous story. How does she motivate all those people to go out and vote? If they all go out and vote, she could win. And then, it will save a state that's gone so far to the right that we need to sort of bring it back to center. So I think it's great that they were all there and they're raising awareness about their existence, but is that enough?
Well, it's great that Pride came back to Atlanta. I mean, first of all,
Right.
just to have that exposure and to now have that place where they can, go and talk and be seen, is good.
Yeah.
And it looked like a lot of fun. I had friends that were there posting pictures.
There were a lot of people from here that went up this weekend. We noticed.
Yeah, I've been to Atlanta Pride. It's a fun festival. It finally returns. I have two quick notes about what is going on in Atlanta. First, I think it's interesting that all of the Democrats show up. What does that signal to the LGBTQ community? 100% of all of the blue candidates show up. 0 of the red candidates show up. Wouldn't you automatically go, I better get to the polls. I better get to the November 8 election. I better do my absentee ballot, which, by the way, today is your last day to do that. I better do this because what they're telling me is all of these people support me and my life, and none of these people support me or my life. And in fact, want to push me back into the closet. Why doesn't that immediately go, Al, are you dumb? Why aren't you voting? So why are we having to ask and remind over and over again? You know who told me this loud and clear? Saturday, I went to the LGBT Get Out the Vote Center on Walton Drive. It opened. Val Demings opened it. Her message was not, we want you to vote, not DeSantis is horrible, not Rubio's terrible. Her message was, if we vote, we win. If we get out there, we win. She already knows what I think I know and what probably all of us at the table knows. We have no chance of winning if we don't get out. She's not talking to anyone other than LGBTQ community. If you don't come out, we are not going to win. Broward County has to increase their turnout by 2% to win. We win the governor's house, we win the Senate seat if we do. But it's highly in doubt, which is why the Senate candidate has to say, if you turn out, if you show up, we win. That's exactly what we just watched in Atlanta. And all of the Democrats did that. I'm showing up for you to tell you, you better show up. None of the Republicans did it. And by the way, one of the candidates that didn't show up, I'm shocked. Herschel Walker didn't show up at the Atlanta Pride Parade. Some of the most despicable news that we have seen over the last 5 days ever in, I would argue, in history, of all of the abortions and the forced abortions and the violence and the undocumented children and is going to be the representative of the state of Georgia over the pastor from Martin Luther King's church. Oh my goodness. Why didn't he show up for Pride? Well, his son, Christian Walker, who's his gay son, who he allegedly abused, this is Christian's words, said in Twitter on Saturday, in his Twitter account about his father, wear a condom, damn. That's all he said. So now I have no agreement with Christian Walker on any other words he's ever had come out of his mouth except those. Because it's Herschel Walker, and this is what we're facing. And you know the only person that makes this even worse, shockingly? You know who's there today campaigning for Herschel Walker? Florida Senator Rick Scott, saying, this is our guy.
Wow. They just want to maintain the status quo. They don't have any other interest than protecting their assets.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not keeping the status quo. They're actually trying to turn it even further back.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's about getting the youth to vote.
Would somebody please tell me where the red alert button is at this table? I've got to find it.
I think we should also realize what an iconic moment is. We forget Senator Raphael Warnock is a reverend from a black church. And the fact that we had someone representing a black church walking in a pride parade who is taking on our community and supporting our community at the risk of his campaign, because there are still a lot of people in black churches that do not support the LGBTQ community. Right. He stood up and walked in the parade.
You know, and last thought, because we do have to move on. Jeff, that one observation, how could someone in LGBT South Florida not get to the polls November 8th and say thank you for that?
Yeah.
And here's how I vote. How can they? How can you? I don't understand you if you don't vote on November 8th. LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out television network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.